Hello, good morning. I would like to show you my garden. This is Amy here, and I want to show the garden that I have in the small yard of my house. I'm trying to expand it, so it's not done. It'll be bigger in the next year or two, but this is what I have right now, so I want to show you. All right, so here is my front porch. I do have plans to make this little area right here an herb garden or a perennial garden, so that will have things that stay forever and aren't going to be annuals. I have a little bit of flowers here, some snapdragons that came up from last year, so that was fun. I'm trying to grow a moringa tree right there. We'll see if that happens. I just have a few starts that I haven't put into the ground yet. I have another moringa tree. These are like a salad tree, but I don't know, they're not growing super well, so I've got to figure out what to do. Different flowers here. I have marshmallow root back here and a little bit of echinacea. I'm worried about my echinacea because it's so little, just down right here. But there's a couple plants. Hopefully that will be okay and come back. It's a 2-year plant. It takes 2 years to mature. I have barrels out front, these whiskey barrels, and I have artichokes in them. And then I've left the weeds here. This is mostly lamb quarter and clover. But I left these here. I've just been picking around to keep this open to the sun, but trying to keep the ground cover there so the earth is not like bare ground. So I'm trying to keep that in. I have a few tomatoes. Those will eventually go into the ground. This is what I'm working on right now. I'm using the different methods. It's called lasagnas one. We're just on top of the grass. I just put the cardboard and then put this really nice soil on top. I'm going to leave a little strip of grass here in the back. And then in my bed I have beets right here. I have cauliflower and broccoli and then cabbages in this bed with marigolds planted around. Those are especially important because I have an aphid problem actually, so I just transplanted those. And I'm glad that I have them. They grew out of my mulch pile here. So more barrels, and then in this bed here on the corner, let me get to where the light's not so glaring. This bed on the corner, this has my leeks and onions right along the side here. And this came up from last year, so I could harvest this. I can't remember what this is called, but that came up from last year. I have a few flowers, mostly weeds. I have some chives growing here, and these are radishes. Very shortly I'm going to put the eggplant plants. That's most of what those starts are. The eggplants are going to go right here. And then I need to plant some vining things, and that's what the plan is for this. So this dirt here I'm going to cover with mulch, make some mounds, and then plant my vining things here. So in the summer they can have a place to grow as much as they want, and then in the winter it will be mulch, so it won't just be bare dirt all winter. So that will be great. So this is my little yard. Again, I just have a very small yard, but pretty much all of it is a garden, or will be a garden at some point. And it's been really fun and so sweet to create this. And also it's a bit of a habitat. I've got a lot of things that come along, and there's a lot of rabbits, of course, which Padfoot doesn't like, but there's a lot of birds in here eating the insects and things like that. So it's pretty fun, pretty cool, and there's my garden.
Good morning, I'm Audrey. I work behind the scenes with Be Well Clinic on marketing. Come take a tour of my garden with me. Our first stop is the back deck. I have a couple of pepper plants here. Here is the kids' garden. It's filled with strawberries at this point. Most of these are June berries, so we are picking about 10 strawberries a day in June. But as we are coming to the end of June here, we will start seeing less and less. We have started to supplement with some ever-bearing strawberries as well, so that maybe we can be harvesting more strawberries throughout the summer. Then we come over here to these raised beds. In this bed I have some zucchini plants that are coming up. And surrounding the zucchini plants, we have peas and nasturtiums to help with pest control, as well as some nutrients in the garden bed. Back here I have potatoes and horseradish planted. Looks like the potatoes are doing quite nicely. The cages are because I have chickens that often run around the yard. This is our newest addition this year. A nice little rhubarb there. And back here we are making some natural fertilizer with our chicken manure. So here's our main garden bed. I apologize in advance for the chicken noise. They're mad that I haven't let them out yet this morning. This bed is mainly root veggies this year. I do try to rotate the crops every year. We have carrots, turnips, beets in this bed, as well as the beans that like to climb over this trellis and create a beautiful canopy in the summer. In the back you can see some of the garlic coming up from the fall. Those curly cues have tomatoes on them, 1, 2, and 3 tomato plants this year. And alongside the beans on this side, we have pumpkin plants. The kids like to grow pumpkins, so they will just grow up and over out into the yard. More of our garlic in the back there, along with some herbs. A couple volunteer onions that have bolted already, so I'm just gonna let them be flowers for the bees. Coming over here, we've got Swiss chard, okra, and cilantro, along with our chives and sugar snap peas. The sugar snap peas also have a cucumber plant in the middle, hard to see here, but they play really nicely together. And the last leg of the garden bed doesn't get a lot of sun yet in this time of season because of that tree there. So I've got a lot of flowers planted, but they're not coming up just yet. And over there, we have some melons my daughter is trying out, and you can see the difference in the sugar snap peas planted at the exact same time. The chickens are the last part of our garden tour. They're usually out running around in the yard. I haven't let them out yet this morning, so they are loud, telling me all about it. But they serve a lot of purposes for us besides eggs and eventually meat stock. They also scratch around and help with the compost. They eat food scraps. We use their manure for fertilizer, and oftentimes also we'll use their bedding once it's done for the compost. Thanks for joining me on my garden tour.
Hi, welcome to the Bigham family backyard garden. I'm going to show you all around, see what we have this year. All right, so here is our largest garden bed. Right here in the corner is a whole bunch of horseradish. We planted this guy a few years ago and it just basically exploded. So if you need anything in your garden that is going to take over, go for horseradish. But I do recommend actually putting it separately in a pot so it doesn't take over everything else. But we love it. We chop it all up. It gives you a ton of roots and we ferment it and it's really delicious. Over here we have a bunch of carrots. Maggie here is my helper. We got a bunch of carrots down there. Next to them we have beets. And last year we got a ton of beets, and this year they are struggling a little more, but we have some strong ones holding fast. Here in the middle we have arugula, which we got a ton of earlier. We've used it for a lot of salads and for juicing, and then we just decided to let it go to seed and see what we could do with that. And the flowers are super pretty, so I like having that there. These are pepper plants, a bunch of different kinds, mostly some hot peppers. And then over there we have some kale and some beets and some more carrots. And then finally over here in these boxes we have potato plants. Okay, so then right over here we have 2 more garden beds. This one is my flower garden. The chives up here in the corner, you can see some blossoms, and we actually picked, there was a ton of blossoms and we actually picked them and made a chive blossom vinegar. Maggie, you want to show that vinegar that we made? Look how gorgeous that vinegar is. Just with chive blossoms and white wine vinegar. And then this Up here and kind of all spread out is calendula, which has not blossomed yet. But with calendula, I usually dry it and make it into salve or calendula oil to use for some healing. Here we have a jar of our dried calendula from last year. Thank you, Mags. And then chamomile. So chamomile we just dry.
Chamomile. We have to make some chamomile.
We do need to, yeah. We dry this and we make it into tea, but we have not done that yet this year. And then back over here next to the compost tumbler, we have some herbs. So we have thyme right here, which is just so beautiful with these flowers. We have dill in the back, and we have sage right here.
Make me yummy.
That's right, just like your middle name, sage here. All right, and then we have a little bit more here. We have a tomato plant and some strawberries. Strawberries were planted all around here, and we only have a couple plants left because something, whether child or animal or both, have been picking them all up. And then last but not least, our plentiful mint. So we started with just a couple little dinky plants, and they have grown wonderfully in the past year. There it is. Thanks, Maggie. So there it is, the Bigham Family Backyard Garden. Thank you for joining us.